Sometimes real strength is not loud. It does not need a spotlight, applause, or a reputation that turns heads. Sometimes strength grows in silence, unnoticed by the world. Sometimes God looks at the smallest, quietest person and whispers, "You are the one I will use." This is the story of a shepherd boy who did not look like a fighter, did not sound like a hero, and was never invited to be a soldier. Yet heaven already knew his name. While the world overlooked him, God had already chosen him. This is the story of David and the giant who believed he could never lose. David was not a warrior. He was not tall like his brothers, not trained, not respected as a fighter. He spent his days caring for sheep, playing a harp, and learning to be faithful in small things. His brothers stood in battle, but he stood in the field. They wore armor, he wore humility. They carried swords, he carried responsibility that no one praised. Yet greatness does not begin on the battlefield, and purpose is not born in applause. God trains his warriors where no one is watching. He builds strength in quiet places. He shapes character in hidden seasons. David was being prepared, not by crowds, but by challenges only he and God saw. Alone with the sheep, he faced lions and bears, enemies no one witnessed, victories no one celebrated. But every unseen victory was preparing him for a visible calling. Meanwhile, a giant named Goliath stood in front of Israel. He was massive, powerful, and terrifying. His armor alone weighed more than an ordinary man. For 40 days he stepped forward, shouting insults, daring anyone to fight him. Yet no one came. Not one soldier, not even the king. Before he even swung a weapon, he had already won. Not because he was stronger, but because fear had conquered the hearts of Israel. People were not defeated by his strength. They were defeated by their thoughts. A giant does not need to strike if fear has already made people surrender. David arrived at the battlefield, not as a warrior, but as a messenger. He came only to bring food to his brothers. He came to serve, not to fight. But sometimes those who serve quietly are the ones God raises publicly. While everyone hid from the giant, David could not understand why no one was stepping forward. He heard the same words everyone heard, but he reacted differently. Where others saw danger, he saw dishonor to God. Where others felt fear, he felt faith. A heart trained in God's presence does not collapse when facing a threat. David had fought battles no one knew, so he was not frightened by the battle everyone feared. When King Saul heard that a boy wanted to fight the giant, he tried to dress David with armor, helmet, and sword. "Use this," Saul said. "Fight like we do." But when David tried to walk with the armor, he could not. It was too heavy, too unfamiliar, not meant for him. He took it off. David understood something many people never learn. You cannot win by becoming someone else. You cannot fulfill God's calling dressed in another person's expectations. Real strength comes from being who God shaped you to be. The world will try to define you, change you, tell you how to succeed. But victory is not found in imitation. It is found in identity. David went to a stream and picked up 5 smooth stones. No sword, no shield, no armor, just stones in a sling. To the world, it looked ridiculous. But God does not need something big to create a big miracle. He only needs a willing heart. A small tool becomes a mighty weapon when the hand that holds it is guided by faith. Others relied on strength. David relied on God. Others trusted armor. David trusted purpose. He walked toward the giant. He did not run away. He did not tremble. He stood calm, not because he was strong, but because he knew he did not fight alone. The giant laughed at him, insulted him, mocked him. But faith is not quieted by intimidation. Faith does not shrink because the enemy looks impossible. Right there, with 2 armies watching, God was about to show that one person who believes is stronger than an army, afraid to try. And this moment is only the beginning. A young shepherd facing a warrior feared by nations. A small stone against a massive threat. But why does God choose the underdog? Why does he lift those who seem unqualified? Why does he make the overlooked carry a destiny bigger than those who look more prepared? God's choice is never random. His purpose is never small. The battle is not just about a boy and a giant. It is about what God does through those the world ignores. David's courage didn't come from his size, his skill, or the weapons he carried. It came from trusting in God's power over the enemy. As he said, "You come against me with sword and spear and javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied." His focus was not on the giant's strength, but on God's faithfulness. This teaches us that victory is determined not by human might, but by the one who fights with us. Every giant we face can be overcome when we remember that God is bigger than any challenge in front of us. If this encouraged you, type in the comments below, "My God is bigger than my giant." Let's declare it together and stand in faith. There are moments in life when we look at others and think they are more qualified, more talented, more powerful than we could ever be. We see people who seem bigger than us, people with more experience, more money, more confidence, more strength, and sometimes we feel small. We feel like we do not belong in the same room. We feel like we should stay behind the scenes. But the story of David reminds us that God does not choose based on who looks ready. He chooses based on who is willing. David was not chosen because he had power. He was chosen because he had purpose. He was not picked because he was trained. He was picked because he was teachable. David did not wait to be impressive. He simply showed up with faith. You do not need to be the biggest to make a big impact. You do not need the loudest voice to deliver a strong message. You do not need to be recognized to be called. Sometimes the greatest victories come from the people no one is watching. We live in a world that celebrates the spotlight. People think influence depends on followers, views, applause, and validation. But David had none of those things. He did not carry applause into the battle. He carried character. He did not bring achievements. He brought authenticity. While everyone else focused on how strong Goliath was, David focused on how faithful God was. You become powerful not when you become bigger, but when you believe in something greater than what you see. There will always be giants that make you feel outmatched, giants that seem too big for your strength, too loud for your confidence, too intimidating for your courage. But giants are not there to show you how weak you are. They are there to show you who stands with you. Every giant in your life is an opportunity to see God fight for you. Fear says, "You are too small." Faith says, "You are chosen." Fear says, "You are not ready." Faith says, "God prepared you in ways no one else saw." David's greatest weapon was not his sling. It was his perspective. He did not see himself as a weak boy. He saw himself as someone backed by a powerful God. He did not look at the giant and think, "He is too big to fight." He looked at him and thought, "He is too big to miss." Your mindset determines your victory. Your identity determines your courage. If you see yourself as insignificant, you will hide. If you see yourself as chosen, you will step forward even when everyone else steps back. Greatness does not start with talent. It starts with faith. Talent without faith becomes insecurity. Strength without faith becomes fear. But faith, even without talent, becomes courage. God does not require you to be perfect, only willing. He does not need you to be the best. He simply needs you to be available. If God placed a dream inside you, it means He already gave you what you need to chase it. If He asked you to step forward, it means He already prepared your victory. Do not let your size stop you. Do not let your insecurities control you. Do not let your past define you. The world might overlook you, but God does not. People may underestimate you, but purpose never does. You do not need to wait for someone to approve what God already assigned to you. You do not need permission to walk into the destiny God prepared. Your life is not small just because you feel small. You are not weak just because someone stronger stands beside you. A seed looks insignificant until it becomes a tree. A flame looks small until it becomes a fire. What is planted in you is greater than what stands against you. You are not called to impress people. You are called to make an impact. You are not chosen because you look ready. You are chosen because you are willing to trust. Do not hide from your giant. The giant is not a barrier. He is a bridge. He is not there to stop you. He is there to reveal you. You are not fighting to prove that you are strong. You are fighting to prove that God's strength is real in your life. And like David, you do not win because you are powerful. You win because God is with you. Next, we will explore the voice of the enemy, how fear manipulates us, how intimidation whispers, and how evil wins before the battle even begins. Sometimes we look at challenges and people around us and feel small, unqualified, or overlooked. But God reminds us that He chooses the willing, not the impressive. As 1 Corinthians 1:27 says, "But God chose the foolish things of the world to shame the wise. God chose the weak things of the world to shame the strong." David was a shepherd, underestimated by all, yet God used him to defeat a giant. Your size, experience, or status does not limit what God can do through you. Remember, it's not about being the strongest, the smartest, or the most skilled. It's about being faithful and available. If this speaks to your heart, type in the comments, "I am chosen, I am capable. God fights with me." Let's declare it together and step into our purpose. Evil doesn't always come to destroy you quietly. Sometimes it comes loud, proud, and intimidating. In the story of David and Goliath, the enemy does not attack with swords alone. He attacks with fear first. Goliath walks out to the battlefield towering over everyone, wearing armor heavier than most men. He shouts insults and mocks the entire army of Israel. He knows something powerful. Before he defeats them physically, he must defeat them mentally. Evil always targets your confidence before it targets your reality. When the enemy shakes your courage, you begin to lose battles you haven't even fought. Fear is the loudest weapon the enemy uses. Goliath didn't strike immediately. He taunted Israel morning and evening for 40 days, planting seeds of insecurity over and over again. That is how evil works. It repeats the lie until you start to believe it. You don't have to be hit to be destroyed. You only have to be convinced that you can't win. The enemy magnifies your weaknesses and makes you forget your strengths. The Israelites saw how big Goliath was and forgot how big their God was. Sometimes you don't need a miracle first. You need perspective. You need to see the enemy for what he truly is. A threat, not a destiny. Evil likes to look bigger than the truth. Goliath looked undefeatable, but he wasn't unstoppable. He just knew how to put on a show. Darkness loves drama. It loves to exaggerate its power. It loves to make you think your problem is permanent, your failure defines you, and your struggle has no end. Many people lose not because they lack strength, but because they give up mentally. Goliath knew that if he could make the Israelites feel defeated, they would never dare to fight him. Your greatest battles are not fought with your hands, but with your heart and your thoughts. The enemy is loud because he is trying to hide his weaknesses. Evil shouts only when it knows it can be beaten. Another psychology behind evil is deception. Goliath had everyone tricked into believing that strength is only physical. He made them think that the only way to win was with armor, height, and muscles. But David saw through the lies. He asked different questions. He did not compare strength, he compared purpose. When the enemy convinces you that you must fight like him to win, you are already trapped. You do not win by copying evil. You win by becoming who you were designed to be. David did not wear armor. He did not pick up a sword. He picked up a slingshot. That is the danger for evil, when someone stops fighting by fear and starts fighting by identity. Evil also wants to isolate you. Goliath challenged Israel with a one-on-one duel. Why? Because isolation weakens people. Fear grows when you feel alone. But David understood something deeper. He wasn't alone. He never fought alone. That is why evil fails. It underestimates the invisible support behind the righteous. The enemy can see your body, but it can't measure your spirit. It can see your situation, but it cannot see the strength in your hope, your faith, and your resilience. Evil wants you to forget that you are backed by something greater. Lastly, evil feeds on your silence. For 40 days, Goliath shouted, and no one responded. Silence allowed him to grow bigger. When fear is unchallenged, it expands. When intimidation is tolerated, it becomes your reality. David broke the silence. He responded. He challenged the voice that had ruled their minds. Sometimes victory starts with speaking back. You don't defeat fear by running. You defeat it by confronting it. You defeat intimidation by refusing to agree with it. The moment David opened his mouth, the enemy's power began to shrink. You will face your own Goliaths, circumstances that look larger than life, voices that tell you you're not enough, challenges that intimidate you. But understand this, evil works by exaggeration, by fear, by deception, by isolation, and by silence. And it loses when someone dares to see through the illusion. When you confront fear instead of surrender to it, you take back your authority. When you stop believing the lies of intimidation, your true strength rises. Your victory begins not when the giant falls, but when you stop believing he cannot. Fear and intimidation are tools the enemy uses to paralyze us, but God reminds us not to be afraid. As Isaiah 41:10 says, "So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." Just like David faced Goliath's mocking and overwhelming presence, we face giants that try to make us feel powerless. Evil works through fear, deception, and isolation, but God's presence cancels all intimidation. Your battles may seem impossible, but when you trust in Him, no giant can defeat you. If this encourages you today, type in the comments, "I will not fear, God fights for me." Let's declare it together and stand strong in faith. In the story of David and Goliath, what happened in the battlefield was not a surprise to God. Long before Goliath shouted, long before Israel trembled, long before David picked up his sling, God already prepared the outcome. Divine intervention does not begin when the miracle happens. It begins quietly, slowly, in hidden places. God was shaping David in the fields where no one was watching, training him while he was unseen, preparing him for a battle he didn't even know he would fight. The greatest victories are prepared in secret long before they are revealed in public. David thought he was simply taking care of sheep. He didn't know he was being trained to fight giants. He fought lions and bears, not realizing each encounter was a rehearsal. What looked ordinary was actually divine preparation. Sometimes we question why life gives us difficult seasons, why we face challenges that seem pointless or painful. But divine purpose is often disguised as everyday responsibility. Your current struggle may be preparing you for a battle you don't yet know exists. God builds strength through what looks small, unnoticed, and insignificant. God did not send David to the battlefield first as a warrior, but as a messenger. He wasn't there to fight. He came to deliver food to his brothers. Divine intervention often begins with something mundane. David arrived because of obedience, not ambition. He did not seek the spotlight, but purpose led him into it. God places people in the right moment, not through force, but through faithfulness. When you simply obey what is in front of you, God leads you to what you are meant for. The opportunities you never planned are often doors God opens through humility and service. Another part of God's plan was confusion to human expectations. Everyone thought the king should fight. Everyone looked at David and saw a boy, not a warrior. But God's plan rarely aligns with human logic. He doesn't need the strongest vessel, only the willing one. Divine intervention is not about physical advantage. It is about spiritual alignment. When God chooses you, no one can disqualify you. When God appoints you, no one can cancel the assignment. The world may overlook you, but heaven does not operate by popularity or position. Heaven responds to faith. God also allowed Goliath's arrogance to grow. This may seem strange. Why did God let the enemy intimidate Israel for 40 days? Why didn't he stop Goliath sooner? Because sometimes God allows the enemy to go too far, not to destroy you, but to expose him. God waited until the right moment, until the giant shouted loud enough for everyone to hear, so that when he fell, no one could deny who brought him down. When situations become impossible, it is not because God has abandoned you, but because he is setting the stage for a victory no human effort could take credit for. Divine intervention is not always loud. In the story, there was no thunder, no fire from heaven, no angel descending with a sword. The miracle was hidden in a simple stone guided by an extraordinary God. The world focuses on the sling, but the power came from above. God doesn't need impressive tools. He only needs surrendered hearts. When David released the stone, it didn't travel by skill alone. It traveled with purpose, precision, and divine direction. That is the mystery of God's plan. He uses what you already have, but fills it with power you can never produce on your own. God's intervention was not only victory over Goliath, it was a transformation for David. The battle did not just change Israel's fate, it changed his identity. A shepherd became a warrior. A boy became a leader. A forgotten child became a future king. Divine intervention does not simply fix your problem, it elevates your purpose. When God steps into your story, you don't just survive, you are promoted. Your victory is not only a blessing for you, it becomes a testimony for others, proof that God lifts the humble and strengthens the faithful. Many people are waiting for miracles, not realizing they are already carrying what God will use. David did not need to borrow anyone's armor. He only needed what he had and who he was. Divine plan does not require you to become someone else. God will use your experience, your skills, your pain, and your past. He will take what life taught you in private and reveal it in His perfect timing. You are not unprepared. You are being prepared. God's timing and plan are perfect, even when we don't see it. As Jeremiah 29:11 reminds us, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." David's victory over Goliath was not accidental. It was part of God's divine plan, prepared long before he even reached the battlefield. Sometimes our preparation happens in quiet, unseen moments, and God uses the ordinary to accomplish the extraordinary. Trust that what God has prepared for you is already in motion. If this inspires you today, type in the comments, "God's plan is perfect. I trust Him completely." Let's declare it together and step forward in faith. Life will always present giants, challenges that seem bigger than your strength, problems that feel heavier than your shoulders, obstacles that appear impossible to overcome. These giants are not here to scare you or stop you. They are here to reveal something inside you. Just like David faced Goliath, your battles are not meant to prove how strong the giant is, but to show how strong your faith and courage can become. The first lesson is this: identify your giant, name it. Look at it clearly. Fear grows in the unknown, but courage begins in recognition. Whether it is fear, doubt, failure, or opposition, acknowledge it, understand it, and then step forward. The second lesson is to identify your sling, your unique skill, talent, or gift that God has given you to face the battle. David didn't need a sword or armor to defeat Goliath. He used what he had, a sling and 5 smooth stones. Your sling might be your intelligence, your kindness, your creativity, your resilience, or your ability to speak truth. Often we underestimate the tools we already have because they seem too small, too ordinary, too insignificant. But God multiplies what you are willing to use. The smallest tool in a faithful hand can achieve the impossible. You do not need what everyone else has. You only need what God gave you. The third lesson is preparation and practice. David had already faced lions and bears while guarding sheep. Those experiences may have seemed small or irrelevant, but they prepared him for the giant. Every trial you face, every obstacle you overcome, every moment of discipline or patience is building strength for a bigger battle. Do not despise the small tasks or ordinary seasons. They are not wasted. They are your training ground. Your victory will be proportional not to how visible your work is, but to how consistent and faithful you are when no one is watching. The fourth lesson is courage under pressure. Giants often try to intimidate you, make you doubt yourself, and convince you to run. David faced ridicule, disbelief, and fear, yet he walked confidently toward his challenge. Courage does not mean absence of fear. Courage means taking action despite fear. You cannot wait until fear disappears to act. You must act, trusting that God is with you, that your purpose is greater than your doubts, and that your faith is stronger than your intimidation. Giants fall not when we are unafraid, but when we are faithful. The fifth lesson is focus on God, not the problem. David did not concentrate on Goliath's size, strength, or armor. He focused on God's power and faithfulness. When your attention is on the challenge instead of the Creator, fear grows. When your eyes are on the impossible instead of the one who makes it possible, doubt takes over. Keep your perspective aligned with God's truth, and you will see that no giant is too big to overcome. Your faith is the lens through which the impossible becomes possible. The sixth lesson is action with precision. David did not throw stones randomly, he aimed. Life requires not only courage and faith, but deliberate, thoughtful action. Your fight is not won by rushing, guessing, or giving up. It is won by carefully, purposefully using what you have in the moment God gives you. Small actions, when executed with wisdom and courage, lead to big victories. You do not need to move mountains all at once. You need to take the right steps in the right direction with faith guiding you. The seventh lesson is humility and reliance on God. David did not boast about his strength, nor did he rely on his skill alone. He acknowledged that victory belonged to God. Your accomplishments are multiplied when you give credit to the one who equips you. Pride and self-reliance are dangerous because they shift the source of your strength from God to yourself. Success is sweeter and more powerful when you allow God to fight with you, to guide you, and to reveal His plan through your obedience. Finally, take the lesson of stepping forward. Many wait for permission, opportunity, or perfect conditions. David did not wait. He went forward with faith. Life rewards the brave who act despite fear. Your giant may be standing in front of you, mocking, intimidating, and testing your courage. But your next step could be the one that changes everything. Don't wait for everyone to believe in you. Don't wait for fear to disappear. Move forward, trust God, and use what you have. Your stone, your faith, your courage, and your obedience can bring down the giant. Remember, victory is not measured by the size of the challenge, but by the faithfulness, courage, and purpose of the one who faces it. Your life may feel small, your resources limited, and your enemies overwhelming. But the God who prepared David for a battle as a shepherd will also prepare you for yours. Identify your giant, take your sling, step forward with courage, trust God's plan, and watch as the impossible falls before the faith and obedience of the one He has. Every giant we face has a purpose in God's plan, and He equips us to overcome it. As Philippians 4:13 says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. David defeated Goliath not because of his own power, but because he relied on God's strength and guidance. Whatever challenges you face today, fear, doubt, or overwhelming obstacles, you can overcome them when you trust God and step forward in obedience. Your stones may seem small, but with faith, they are more powerful than any giant. If this encourages you, type in the comments, "Through Christ, I overcome my giants." Let's declare it together and move forward in faith. If you were inspired by David's courage and faith, wait until you hear the story of Joseph, the dreamer. Despite being betrayed by his own brothers, sold into slavery, and forgotten in a prison, Joseph never lost hope. God had a plan that no obstacle could stop, and his journey shows how patience, faith, and obedience turn trials into triumph. In the next episode, we'll explore how Joseph's dreams, challenges, and ultimate rise to power can teach us to trust God's timing and purpose in our own lives. Don't miss it. Your next giant may be waiting, and Joseph's story will show you how to face it with courage. Comment below if you're ready to discover how God turns setbacks into miracles.